So you just picked up the Sony A7 III. And that most likely means it came with the 28 by 70 millimeter kit lens. And even though that's a nice lens, it might not give you the style that you're looking for. In this video, I'm gonna show you a super cheap alternative before you go out and buy $1,000 glass for your camera. So if you're as lucky as me, you might be able to stumble upon a stash of vintage lenses. If you're slightly less lucky, you can go online and get this same exact lens for about $30. That's the first one I found when I Googled this lens. Having a 50 millimeter lens in your arsenal is something you want to try to do. This thing can go as wide as 1.8 with its aperture. It opens wide up, lets a lot of light in, and gives you that smooth, buttery background that you're most likely looking for. Now, since this is an old vintage lens, you can't attach this straight to the camera, and you're gonna need something like this. This is a photo deox lens adapter. I got it off Amazon for like 20 bucks. This adapter allows me to mount an old Nikon lens onto an E-mount camera, which in this case is my Sony A7 III. If you're interested in that mount, there's a link in the description. Once you get that mount, you are good to go with the lens. Most of the time when you shoot with these vintage lenses, you're gonna have to pull focus manually, which if you're anything like me, you're not gonna enjoy. But in the long run, it'll help you hone your skills and become a better creator, which is the main goal anyway. So some of these shots might be a little out of focus, but you'll get the point. You'll get the quality of this lens. These are shots that can testify to the fact that the glass is actually good. It's a Nikon lens and it actually holds up to most lenses that are out right now. The one thing about these shots that isn't good is I couldn't stop it all the way down to 1.8 aperture. If I went all the way to 1.8, the sun was getting too bright and everything was overexposed. And that's my fault. I should have had an ND filter on the lens, but unfortunately right now I don't have one that fits this lens. If you don't know what an ND filter is, basically it allows you to use the widest aperture you can while not jeopardizing the integrity of your picture quality. But still, you can see how good the quality of the lens is. And we're not even at 1.8 aperture yet. But I wasn't content with this, so me and my buddy went to the next spot. We're walking up this bridge right now, and we're gonna scope out the best way to get under the bridge. And hopefully by then, that sun will be just below where it is now, and it'll give us some good lighting and allow me to open that lens up just a bit more. Oh snap! Sometimes you gotta scale down a muddy hill to get the shot. Nice. It's been a long time since we've been here. Gives us a little bit of overcast too, because we're under the bridge. Maybe we can open up that 1.8 aperture. So I still wasn't able to open it to 1.8, but I was able to get pretty low with the aperture. And look at this footage. Here you can really see that background just melt away. Everything just gets blurry back there. The bokeh on this lens is nice. And this isn't even 1.8. So check these two images out side by side. The one on the left is the 50 millimeter. The one on the right is the 28 by 70 kit lens. In these two photos, the subject is in focus and the background is blurry. You can really see the difference in these lenses when you do this. Also, the blurriness, the bokeh, the aperture just doesn't open wide enough on the kit lens to give you the same effect as the 50 mil does. Look how blurry and melty the 50 mil is compared to the one on the right. This next clip, you can't really see the bokeh too much because I'm pulling focus far away, but you can see the compression. You can see how small the water tower looks in the back. You can see how small Brandon looks when he walks away. That's because the kit lens does not have the same compression as the 50 mil lens, which I am really starting to like. But after these shots, I still wasn't satisfied. I wasn't able to get a lot of shots opened at 1.8. It was still too bright. Everything would still be overexposed. So, took the camera out at night, which is where a 1.8 aperture lens will do work. So in this shot, my hand is the closest it can be to the lens without being out of focus, and you can really see the bokeh in the background. Look at how big the light bulbs are. Here you can really see the depth of field. This metal edge of the girder is in focus while the background is out of focus. These are shots that you won't be able to get with the kit lens. The 50 mil is super good for getting those foreground shots, the establishing shots, with something in the front where you can either make blurry or in focus. It does a great job with those shots. This shot, there's not a lot of bokeh going on, but I just really like the shot, so I put it in there. But here's something I noticed about this lens, which, tell me what you think, if this is a good thing or a bad thing. So in this shot, you see all the bokeh in the background. These are lights, these are street lights, these are cars. You can see how they're all a circular shape. The ones on the left and the right, yeah, they get pointy at the top and bottom, but that's because the street lights are angled. If it was straight at us, it would be a perfect circle, like all the other lights. And I love that. But this is the weird part. When you get something in front of you, in the foreground, close to the beginning area where the lens can focus, it takes the shape of the aperture ring instead of making it a circle. Is that normal? Do all lenses do that? I don't really know. I kind of like it. I like the option to have weird shapes and circles. So a 50mm Nikon lens that'll run you $30 and that can open up to 1.8, no brainer in my book.